Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. It's a day of introspection, a day when many are looking inside and seeing, what can I do, they say, to change my situation, but mostly not the situation that's practical, but the one about how I feel. Indeed, the situation right now is being controlled, as you know. This is channel number 2 of 4 regarding joy. And we started it this morning. Finding joy in the midst of chaos is tough. And yet this is what is being asked of so many of you right now. Dear ones, those listening later, I say again, this channel was given in the midst of the second wave of the virus in the year 2020 in the month of July. It is not a good time for many. And what makes it difficult is the unknown. How long will it last? What is next? How can you plan for the future when you don't really know what the future will bring in that groove of normalcy that you normally plan with and for? When you say, I'm going to take a vacation here, I'm going to do this here, I'm going to even perhaps go out and have a good time here, none of those things are in front of you the way they were before. It creates anxiety, even with those who say, well, I'm okay with all of these things and I'm doing fine. I will say that there still is an element of uncertainty that doesn't sit well. It just doesn't sit well with anyone. And so these are channels that would say, well, there are some answers. And those answers on the how to create the joy in your life refers to what I described before, is finding that inner child, which is a memory that you all had. A time when you were a child and worried about very, very little, if anything at all, a time of play and happiness, giddiness, giggles, innocence. It is still there. We have said that that seed of the inner child is the joy. It's the remedy that lurks in there waiting to be found, pasted upon you yet again for times like these. I would like to give you 4 suggestions. And almost each one of these is eye-rolling to those who work in linearity and logic and don't understand there's something else, the rest of the story. And I'm going to give you that in a moment as one of the 3. Wouldn't it be great to have a situation where nothing changes yet, and yet tomorrow and the next day you can awaken with a peaceful countenance? Not only that, that those around you would see it as well. Now that's going to be channel 3. I just gave that away. That's tomorrow. 4 attributes, 4 things you might try, which many of you are going to say, that's not going to work. Because you really don't understand. There is so much more to what I'm going to give you than it seems. And that much more comes in so many ways. It comes that which is in your innate. It comes in what your body listens to and expects, and it comes from the help from the other side of the veil. What have we told you in the past for 30 years about how your body works with you? You have something called a smart body. This smart body is the part that homeopathy speaks to. It's the part that knows more than you do. It's the part that understands your immune system. It's a part that works with disease. It's like you go on and earn your living and do all the things you do, and the smart body does the rest. That means that there are pieces and parts of you that operate even though you don't understand what they're doing. That is survival. It's built in. It's beautiful. So let's use it. Right now, let's use it. Number 1. It's going to sound too simple. All of these are going to sound too simple. I want you to find positive, peaceful, meaningful affirmations and memorize them. Don't read them. Put them in your mind, memorize them, and state them. Maybe 3, maybe 4. And you do it as often as you need to do, and you start the day with it. You get up and you're feeling horrible. You start the day with it. And we're going to discuss this whole idea that it's an oxymoron, that you sit there in pain while you are memorizing an affirmation that says, I feel great. And people will say, that is just dumb. That's not esoteric. That's not spiritual. That's dumb. I'm supposed to memorize an affirmation that says I feel great when I don't? Yes, that's exactly why. There's something else going on, dear ones, and I will say it again. I'm gonna, as I say, beat this idea so that you're gonna be tired of hearing it. The body listens to you. It hears words and it acts on things based upon your consciousness being the boss. Have you ever thought about that? If you are the boss of your own body and the boss of your own consciousness, how do you tell your body what to do? Do you just think about it? The answer truly is speak it out loud. If you start having these affirmations of peace, I am a peaceful human being because I participate in the joy of creation, in the benevolence of a creator who loves me, and all around me that is natural and beautiful. Simple. At the same time, you're feeling awful. Yes. Does it work? Yes. If it didn't, there would not be a plethora of affirmation processes and cards and teaching all over the planet. Yes, it works. And the methodology or the consciousness of the logic of it is that smart body of yours is listening. We've always said this. Always. Your cellular structure is listening. Talk to the cells of your body. Even though you may think one thing, biologically and chemically, your body will react to another. That is why they work. Memorize at least 3 and say them in the morning, say them at night, say them during the day. After a while, that innate of yours starts to understand that it's a request, perhaps it's even a demand. It starts to chemically change, and when your chemistry changes, your thoughts change. You know that. You know what it's like to feel awful and what it's like to feel good, dear ones. You all do. And you know that chemically you feel a certain way. It's not all in your head. It has to do with how tired you are, or how vivacious you feel, or whether you want to talk a lot or whether you don't. That's chemically. That's not just in your brain. And so affirmations do this for you, and it starts to react into that smart body, and it does the rest for you. Number 2, this is not only similar, it sounds the same, but with a twist. All of you have had times where you have laughed out loud at an external source. Perhaps the external source is a great, wonderful book. Perhaps it's a movie you've seen or a video or anything, pictures, fun with the animals that you've had or the memories you've had, whatever it is. I want you to find it and play it. The more time you spend in the things that made you laugh before, the more it triggers that muscle memory of laughter, remembrance, and a good time. If you've had some movies you've really enjoyed that made you laugh, do it again. And you may say, oh, it's not going to work, Kryon. I'll put it on, okay. I guarantee after a while you'll be chuckling and you'll be laughing and your chemistry is going to feel it. And the chemistry of your body is going to say, well, this is a good thing. I'm going to change. I'm going to change from being worried and anxious and going into disease and and unhealthiness, and I'm going to start changing that chemistry. Your chemistry changes when you laugh. Did you know that? Finding joy in the midst of this chaos is not as difficult as you think, but you work at it. Do you want it or not? You work at it. So that's number 2. Find a stimulus that in the past has entertained you and made you laugh, and do it again. Find it. Well, Kryon, I really only have one movie that's made me laugh in my life. Well, then, get it and play it every day. Because you won't get tired of laughing. Nobody does. Even if you know what's coming, you watch movies again and again because they're entertainment and they soothe your heart. That's number 2. Number 3 is an axiom. And here it is. Cognize a basic truth. There are 2 parts in this truth. Part 1, your body wants to heal. That's survival. Everything in innate is built to survive. Your body wants this more than your consciousness does. So there is a tremendous cooperation that takes place immediately. When you start to do this, the intent of what you're doing is seen by your body, by your innate. Even parts of your consciousness know what you're trying to do. Again, feeling awful, putting these seeming Band-Aids, the affirmations, the movies, it sees what you're trying to do and then cooperates. In other words, you got a helper here. That helper is the survival instinct of your innate. It wants to laugh. It wants to come out of this depression, dear ones. No matter what's happening around you, you can be peaceful with all things and joyful. Does it help if you're not? That's one of the questions, isn't it? How is that going to accelerate what's going on outside your house? And the answer, it won't. It won't. But the things that will keep you healthier while you're inside your house, I'm giving you. The second part of this, number 3, is spiritual. The Creator cares about you more than you know. And when you start doing these kinds of things and finding the inner child and getting the affirmations out, I'll tell you, there's a piece and part of your soul that then sees that you have, with free choice, decided a process that it will now help cooperate with. Did you get that? You have free choice. That is so important. If you had any idea what that really truly means, you have a choice to die early, if you wish. If you wish. You have a choice to stay on the planet, if you wish. But here's the rule that you should know. The rule that you should know. If you choose to find pieces and parts of the Creator in you, if you choose that, the light starts to shine. It really does. The pieces of your soul say that, look what the human did. The human is giving us permission. Open the door, open the door, open the door. That's how we feel about it. Free choice. Open the door. Get in there and help them out. Your guides show up. Your dreams start to clear up. You feel more benevolence around you. You don't know why. I'll tell you why. Because you did it. You tried it. You showed intent. That's free choice. I can't tell you how much that means to us to say yes. But you have to open the door. That was number 3. If any of you want to put these things together numerologically, there's another story. I've told you everything means something else. What does number 1 mean? What does number 2 mean? What does number 3 mean? Number 4. Force it if you have to. You ever looked at nature? You ever wondered how it can work with storms and catastrophes when then the sun comes out? It's almost like nature just works. It just works. It doesn't seem to matter. That's who you are. You are part of the natural occurring earth. You are part of Gaia. You came from Gaia. So if you don't think this works, force it if you have to, because it puts you in the groove. This absolute wonderful groove that you're going to find with nature, where it simply works and survives and comes out and the sun comes out, and you realize later, well, the animals survived, and it seems like a simple Simon thing, but I'll tell you, there is a groove you can be in that is part of that which is your survival with the planet, with your connection with all that is, that's benevolent. And you start to realize, I'm part of a bigger picture than just me. Number 4 becomes that which is an awareness of you with everything else. When you start understanding that no matter what's happening with your job or with your relationship or with anything else that is giving you anxiety and chaos right now, all of that pales in comparison to the piece of the creation that you are on this planet and what that means in the bigger scale. 31 years. I have been telling you these things. You're bigger than you think. You're more loved than you know. You deserve more than you have because you don't open the door often enough. And we're standing here with our hand out, saying, when are you going to realize how magnificent you are? Number 4, well, it becomes realization of magnificence. You're part of the plan. You're part of the earth. All of these things, so much bigger. I guarantee, if you do these 4, cognizing these things, understanding you have help, the routine of laughter, going things that have made you laugh in the past, affirmations, you'll come out the other side and realize in the face of chaos, you'll say, I am so much more peaceful than I was. The words of peace that passes understanding, meaning you're too peaceful. And people will say, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you depressed anymore? I'm depressed, you get depressed. Oh, that's number 3. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. How do you then transmit what you're going to do and what you're going to learn and the change in the chaos in your life? How do you transmit that to others? Or can you? Or should you? We'll talk about that when we come back. All of these things are for now, for the time, in this July of 2020. And you know what's happening. We tell you these things in great love because that's who we are, in love with you. And so it is.